Hello, my name is Harney, and these are the user stories and level prototype that I made for Milestone 2. The level prototype itself is DRAG 433. As the player, I want there to be a level that is both a safe place to rest and contains a small puzzle that rewards replenished resources so I can recover my expended resources. That's not this zone, this is the exterior zone right before it. This leads to the safe zone behind this wooden gate that the player is rendering under for some reason, but I show you they cannot get through. The first completion criteria is the player will be able to rest in this level, which advances time and recovers expended resources. They can do that by double-clicking the time icon. It brings up the rest menu. The next completion criteria is that the player cannot manage to die here. Any way the player has to self-damage themselves in this level does not work or does not do damage. In other areas, the player is able to, for example, open their inventory and use a weapon on themselves, and they have a chance of hurting themselves when they do that. In this area, that does not happen. And the final completion criteria for this room is that this level is not available at all times. If the puzzle in the room is not solved correctly, the player becomes permanently locked out of this area. That puzzle is contained in user story DRAG 434. As the player, I want there to be a small puzzle that rewards replenished resources so that I can recover quicker with more active gameplay. The first completion criteria for that is that there is a fence that the player can bypass with appropriate skills depending on their player class. If the player is a fighter, they can simply climb over the fence. If a player is a rogue, they can use their lockpicks to pick the wooden lock on the fence, getting them through. Or if the player is a mage, they can cast the open spell to open the door magically. Once inside, the next completion right here is inside there is a bush that the player can collect fruit from once per day, which can be eaten to restore health, magic, and stamina. So they can grab a fruit. If they take 2 fruit, the player will be warned that they probably should not take any more fruit. This warning also happens if the player does anything dangerous, like try to use their sword or dagger on anything, or cast the fire spell, and if after receiving warning they still try to do something dangerous or take a fruit, they are kicked out and the area is closed off to them forever. Cannot pass or bypass this barrier in any way. Those stories required some additional user stories to be finished, such as DRAG 449. As the game, I want there to be a day-night cycle, so there is a time when monsters are more plentiful and a time where it is safer. The completion criteria is that there be a UI element that shows a sun or moon symbol that slowly changes over time to indicate the current in-game time. Clicking that symbol will bring up the rest menu, allowing the player to rest 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or all night if it is currently night. During the day, we'll just tell the player that it's too early to sleep. And at night, there's a visual indicator. And finally, if it has been over 20 hours since the player has rested, there'll be a message warning the player, and they start to lose stamina every hour. And for those purposes, 20 hours since the player has rested means taking an all-night rest. Taking a short 60-minute rest does not count as sleep and just delays the inevitable. See, there's the display that the player needs to sleep, and every time that comes up, the player loses stamina. Every time that comes up, the player loses stamina. It also required complete DRAG 455, as the player want to consume food and acquire occasional rest so that money and time have value, with the supposition that food is acquired by purchasing it. The completion criteria are the player can eat food by using it on themselves, restoring a small amount of stamina. The player can eat food by using it on themselves, restoring a small amount of stamina. So the player can open their inventory. Well, they're currently not out of any stamina. Give me a second. There we go. So the player can open their inventory when they are low on stamina, grab a ration from it, eat it, and that recovers stamina. If the player has not eaten in the last 6 in-game hours, the player eats the first item in their inventory in the following order: ration, apple, vegetable. That I don't know how to show on purpose, actually. The next criteria is that when the player has not eaten, it will display a message and cost the player stamina, informing them that they are very hungry. Additionally, within DRAG 455, there's mechanics for rest, which can be opened with the UI element. First of all, it displays the time if you click it once, and opens the rest window if you click it twice. Resting for 10 minutes restores a little stamina and some magic. 30 minutes restores more stamina and a lot of magic. 1 hour restores more stamina, a little health, and all magic. And all night restores everything and a lot of health, but not all of health, but can only be done during the night time. Additionally, the final completion criteria is that resting moves time forward the appropriate amount, as indicated by the icon in the corner, and with it, change it to night at night.